Hey all, Pixel here, getting back to the rust repair on the quarter. So let's get into it. Alright, as previously noted, I need to patch this hole, I need to patch this hole, and I need to patch a chunk of this. I'm not sure exactly how much. It may just be easier to run a whole strip the entire way rather than try and do it piecemeal. But to do that, I've got to get the interior pieces out of the back here, sort of fold back the carpet and whatnot, and then just start cutting metal and welding it in. The two little patches are going to be quick. That strip even shouldn't be too bad because it's not going to have to be something super precise. So that should all be quick. Once I get those done, this area will be done enough that I can start rebuilding that inner piece, that thing that I had to take out of there. It's part of me that wants to reuse this, and part of me that doesn't want to bother. And I'm not sure which is going to win right now. I'm leaning towards not bother just because of the fact that the top and bottom is both rotted on this. But we'll see, I guess. And then once I get all that dealt with, I can actually get back to what I was working on. All right, I don't know how much of that I'm going to keep because a bunch of it wouldn't have been visible well from the camera angle. I started cutting this out, and I think I'm going to have to get a different tool to get in here. I didn't realize this panel up to here then has a flange that's behind this that goes all the rest of the way up. And this is pretty solid. It's got a couple little spots, but I don't want to try and drill those spot welds out there in an impossible place. So I think I need to get something small that I can either get from this side or the other and just slice this off. And then I think I'm going to weld it to this side of it just for reach. Either that or I'm going to drill holes through this, push it in from the other side and spot weld it. But that's on pause. I decided to weld up. There was a split here from using a chisel. I welded that up. I cut all of this out, but similar problems. This corner turns out to be in really poor shape, and I'm not quite sure how to better light. This corner is in very poor shape. There's a couple spots here and there, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that or how I'm going to do this. So that's on hold. I did weld this spot up, and I did weld this spot up. Found this, which is a little rust. There's a spot weld right here. The piece is still actually there. That's a bit of rust underneath it. I need to get in behind there, get that spot weld off. I haven't figured out the best way to do it because it's in a really awkward place. Drilling it, I don't want to punch a hole through this. So what I'm hoping I can do is get that little bit of metal that's still rusty metal that's still spot welded there, clean it off, and then hope I can just fill this in with weld. But this is turning into a bigger project, but I'm chipping away at it. This corner is going to be the biggest hassle. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm going to end up having to make a couple of small patches and just sort of do my best in here and then just accept it because the angle's so awkward, and I've already put some awkward patches in here, so I'm going to do the best I can and call that good enough. But that's going to be it for tonight. I don't even know what time it is, but I haven't actually had dinner tonight, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to have dinner, and I don't think I'm coming back out here because this is just really frustrating. It's fiddly stuff. Normally I don't mind fiddly stuff, but everything about this is turning out to be weird and awkward and strange because of the weird way that Oldsmobile put all this together. So it's just frustrating enough to make me not want to work on it, and that's obviously making it hard for me to work on it. But I'm making progress on it. I'll figure it out. Another day, more work on the Oldsmobile quarter. One one of the things I was stressing about at the end of the last one, so I still have to get the last bits of that inner panel off that are spot welded on. And I had so much trouble with the spot welds on the other side, I was not looking forward to it. And then perfect timing, this woman I follow on Instagram who runs a classic car body shop suggested, use one of these if you don't need to save one of the panels. She says she just grinds the heads right off, and it's so much easier than the other methods. So I'm gonna give that a shot. So once again, I can't really show you it in action because there's just no room in there, but I'll follow up with you as soon as I've given it a shot. All right. I recommend the hell out of that method. If you don't need the piece of metal that you're taking off, this is a great method. You can see, you just basically grind through until it pops off. I think this is basically here. And then whatever's left, you can just use the same tool to smooth it out. I went through like 2.5 belts doing it, just because, honestly, I think it would have been easier if I'd done this from the start, because I would have had less jagged edges. And this would have been easier. I probably would have used up less belts, but it got everything off that I needed it to. So it's now disconnect. It's removed all over here. It's removed over here. It's removed up here, over here, up here, and I removed the little bits of the cage that used to keep this backing plate in place. So now that all that's been removed, I can get in here, do some more rust prep. I quickly sprayed this down with the phosphoric acid, and that helped, but it wasn't enough just because of the state of everything in here. But at this point, all of that old panel that was in here is gone. So now I can start working on repairs. All right, I got that all cut out and made myself a couple of half-assed patterns to get myself started. So I need to cut these out, transfer them to the steel, and then cut that out. And I'm not very good at this, so these are more likely to be a starting point than an end point. This edge right now that I'm cutting off is probably going to end up with some extra and a flange on it. These were done with the dirty finger method, where you take your material, you hold it up against the hole, you rub your dirty finger on it, and voila, you have created a patch. Template. Yeah, this one's didn't transfer very well. This here is where that opening is. These will get me at least in the right ballpark. So this piece that I cut is for the upper part in there. It's going to go in like this. This needs to have a bit of a curve to it. You can't bend it with a flange on it like that. That's exactly what this thing is for. So I'm going to figure out how the hell this works. I need this to be stretched because I need it to go. So, okay. And then, see, curved panels. I have no idea if this is the right curve because I haven't test fitted it, but it's going to get me in the right ballpark. This is totally luck, not skill, but I'm kind of weirded out by the fact that this is exactly the perfect arc. Like when I put it on here, I can't rock it back and forth. There's really nothing to push down in the middle. I managed to like hit it basically dead on for the arc of that wheel well. So now, sorry about the light behind it, this needs to go in from the other side, and I already know it's going to need a little bit of trimming where it fits up in this corner because it actually doesn't need the tall flange in that area, but this will get me pretty damn close. I've decided I'm welding the flange in from behind. Just, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just fit this right across here. Oh, that's tempting. Because I can butt that up there, I can weld that there, I can weld that all along there. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that. I think I'm just going to lay this on top and weld it overlapping and then seam seal the inside. Instead of trying to do, there's no reason to do a flush weld here. Nobody's ever going to see the damn thing. Why am I making too much work for myself? So I still need to trim a little bit away over here. I still need to do a little bit of cleanup. Now that I'm welding it on top, I got to take more paint off up here. I need to clean this up. I need to get these little things out of the way. But yeah, that's actually going to go in pretty easy, I think. Alrighty, we are in good shape here. This one is all trimmed and adjusted to fit in here. It totally does fit when I'm not trying to do it one-handed with the wrong hand. That's better. But yeah, fits all in here pretty good. These holes have been drilled for spot welds. This end's been trimmed. It's been treated with copper weld through primer on both. This one over here is a little bit more sort of half-ass isn't the word for it, but this one, it's such an awkward space that I'm just kind of doing the best I can, getting something to fit in there, and then once I get it in place, there's going to be a lot of once I get it in place, there's going to be a lot of hammering or pushing or whatever to get things to line up exactly the way I want before they get welded together, but it'll be good enough. This gap is supposed to be here. This is an opening. This isn't me just leaving a hole. There's a few more little holes down here and a few more over here that I'm hoping I can just fill with weld, and then that'll be good. So yeah, I think I'm at the point where I need to weld these in. Alright, so there's the upper patch in place. Went in pretty good, had a couple spots that were a little awkward, but overall it went together fine. This one down here was a royal pain in the ass, and is still pretty ugly. So, but I'm not going to get it much better, just the angle's bad, there's rubber undercoating, contaminating welds, it's ugly down here. But nobody's ever going to see it, and it's solid. This is going to get a light bit of grinding, but it's also going to get a lot of seam sealing when I get to that step, so it'll be fine. The slice is fixed, and that one burn through spot is fixed. I did both of these just with weld. This, I just kept filling it until it was completely filled. Same with this, I just worked my way down with weld and then ground them back. So all the rot holes are now fixed in this wheel well. So next session is going to be boxing the inside in here in and getting that all sealed up so that I can finally work on that. That's it for tonight. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.